I understand all that, but...
No, you don't!
Welcome to WatchMojoUK. And today we're looking at the Taskmaster contestants who were most entertaining when they failed on the show, and the ones who were just plain unfunny.
Do you think tonally you've got this wrong?
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10, Mark Watson.
I'm going to call it the Watson Cooler. I sent a Twitter message out saying, can anyone come within the next half hour and collect this?
Ah, the water cooler moment. It remains one of the most legendary tasks in the show's history, coming all the way back in Series 5. But while Sally Phillips was easily the most memorable, Mark Watson's was an abject failure.
What I want is to create a kind of chain of positivity by as many people as possible writing sort of nice messages, and there's all on the other side as well.
He went high concept and tried to pass the water cooler around the country with the idea that it would go on a journey and that everybody who took it would write their names and something nice.
We'll see what happens, but at the very least, I trust him to move it on to someone else.
At the very least, you've given someone a water cooler.
Unfortunately, nobody else was as invested in Mark Watson winning Taskmaster as Mark Watson, and basically gave up as soon as they had the water cooler in their possession. It was one of his most uninspired tasks, especially after the highs of the text message saga.
It then went to this man called Mark in southwest London. It stayed in southwest London. It went to South London. It then went to southeast London.
Wow.
And that's where it stopped. So it's not...
Number 9, Sayeeda Warsi.
I have bought the shiniest, most unwielding, beguiling Christmas tree.
Baroness Warsi made yet another television appearance by competing in Taskmaster's New Year Treat as one of the only members of the House of Lords to have degraded themselves for Greg Davies' pleasure.
It's a powerful narrative. Shame about this tat.
Perhaps Warsi is funny for a politician, but that's still miles away from the professional entertainers that Taskmaster usually gets.
It's not beguiling.
My therapist said that if I think it's beguiling, and then you really cannot cancel my therapy. I think it's really inappropriate for you to stop the healing process.
From bringing a Christmas tree to a New Year's episode and trying to insist that it was beguiling to Greg, to sucking up an egg with a hoover, she just couldn't compare to the unfettered chaos that Adrian Childs and Claudia Winkleman brought to this special episode.
And that is how it's done.
Number 8, Charlotte Richie.
Charlotte, run. Just run.
3 words.
I can't believe this.
Most series of Taskmaster have a token non-comedian among the group to add some flavour, and in this series, it was actress Charlotte Richie.
Charlotte, walk.
I can't, I've been burned.
Her affable nature and approach to the tasks earned her a reputation as a children's TV presenter or a primary school teacher, which Greg brought up throughout the series.
Why? It's not like she's done yet another performance on a children's TV show. Clap with me, click with me.
Despite not being able to deliver one-liners with the ruthlessness of fellow contestant Lee Mack, she was still a joy to watch, as long as she wasn't trying to be funny in the moment. Her abysmal prize tasks were easily some of the worst we've ever seen, too.
Crouch. Crawl.
Number 7, Iain Stirling.
How is that going to stop stuff
I'm
falling
quietly
out of the hammock?
confident, actually.
Iain, how is that going to stop things falling out of the hammock?
It isn't.
Rather than trying to be funny during the tasks, Iain Stirling often let his rage get the better of him. He was definitely one of the angriest Taskmaster contestants ever, even compared to Ed Gamble and Paul Chowdhury.
I'd like to apologise for my behaviour. I just thought we shouldn't panic.
I agree, which is why I suggested doing all of this 7 minutes ago.
OK.
But the most memorable instance when Stirling lost his temper was during the hammock task, where he and Lou Sanders locked horns while a helpless Paul Sinha looked on. It was more upsetting to watch than anything, as neither of them listened to each other, but Iain definitely came off worse.
Such a little bossy boots, aren't you?
That wasn't pleasant for me to watch.
Even he was horrified when he had to watch it back afterwards, apologising for his behaviour. Number 6, Rylan Clark.
Hi, Alex.
Hello, Rylan.
Say hello, Greg.
In this inaugural edition of New Year Treat, TV personality and former X Factor contestant Rylan Clark was on. Greg Davies was anticipating that Rylan was going to be misbehaving the most, though this turned out to be inaccurate when Strictly's Shirley Ballas started talking.
Then I get out in my little maid outfit and wheel it up the back.
She's in a maid outfit. Of course she's in a maid outfit. She was already in one in my mind.
But while Rylan was as unhinged as all good Taskmaster contestants, his costume fell a bit flat. He showed up to the studio dressed as Greg, but during the tasks was wearing an elaborate outfit designed to look like Greg was giving him a piggyback. Unfortunately, it looked like something else entirely. But at least he'd threw a better party than Krishnan Guru Murthy.
So you've essentially come in wearing a costume that is meant to look like you're riding on my back, but really it just looks like my face is on your penis.
Number 5. Alice Levine.
So I've gone for something that's gone out of fashion, but I think it's going to make a comeback. It's the Veruca sock.
One of the first non-comedians on the show was Series 6's Alice Levine, best known for being a radio DJ at the BBC. Though she and Russell Howard triumphed in many of their team tasks, notably the one with the shower, she wasn't the most consistently entertaining.
Yeah, the shower was on, but it was disconnected because Team Funk went and busted.
Can I just clarify, we haven't settled on Team Funk.
Infamously, when asked to bring in some interesting footwear, Levine produced an absolutely repulsive pair of Veruca socks.
OK, I am putting Alice's Veruca sock in last place.
What?
This was just one in a long line of terrible Levine prizes, and it's no wonder that she's only managed to win one episode. Even that was surprising, after we had to see her rate Tim Vine's foot.
That is my foot, is it?
That's a nice foot. I would say second
right?
toenail from the end, little long, but apart from that, I'm really enjoying it.
Number 4. Victoria Coren Mitchell.
If I knew what cool was, I would not have arrived at this point in my life.
Professional poker player and presenter Victoria Coren Mitchell has many, many talents, but being funny under pressure perhaps isn't one of them.
It's awful. I'm not a practical joke person.
No.
I find practical jokes aggressive and
She went on the record as hating practical jokes and misunderstood Alan Davies' football team allegiance, apparently unaware that getting him, an Arsenal supporter, tickets to Manchester United was a bad gift.
What I think cool is, you know, customising your own inhaler. You know what I mean? Like having different glasses for different occasions.
She had plenty of legendary moments too, though, like solving the team riddle task almost single-handedly and adding up the scores quicker than Greg and Alex could manage with their pens, paper and calculators.
J equals C.
How do you know that?
Because I've got a code on the back of my jigsaw.
Oh, you've got the early letters.
But who could forget her pitiful impression of a scary monster, the only one Greg managed to guess in the final round?
Victoria.
Number 3. Paul Sinha.
Am I allowed to use you lot as a human wall to trap me in?
You do whatever you want, Paul.
Like Victoria Coren Mitchell, Paul Sinha isn't known for being funny, but for being clever, as one of ITV's notorious chasers. While the others floundered in the challenge where they had to remember the playing cards, struggling to find a pen, Sinha just got down to it and memorised the whole deck.
7 of clubs, 6 of clubs, 10 of clubs.
But there's just not a lot of entertainment in watching someone be too good at something on Taskmaster.
Can I get you anything?
My dignity.
He's excellent on the chase when his wealth of knowledge is being called on, but definitely isn't as exciting when trying to complete tasks. Then again, he did have the bold idea to move the finishing line during the ball task.
I had no idea what the actual lightness of the ball was. Just thought, is it possible to blow it?
Number 2. John Kearns.
All right.
Straight, probably.
You haven't made me wow. Yeah.
Like Nish Kumar before him, Kearns was noticeable because of how bad he was at basically everything he was asked to do. It was fitting then that Kearns was given the secret task of sabotaging one of his team tasks with Fern Brady and Dara O'Brien.
Fine, John, so that hand's on that hip.
I thought I didn't understand it, but John really doesn't understand it.
I do understand it.
He could be so relied on to fail that it was no wonder Fern and Dara didn't realise he wasn't just an idiot and was making problems on purpose.
The contrast with John was sensational. It's literally like watching an alien pretend to be human.
But it was during the prize tasks where he shone, or rather didn't shine, because he was another contestant with a knack for picking the worst prizes possible. Chief among them, a silly little sailor's hat. Greg was deeply unimpressed.
I brought in
There we go.
a sailor's hat.
Yep.
Number 1, David Baddiel.
Can I ask you why you're sniffing the ice lollies?
To get the flavour, and therefore the colour.
But is that how you get the flavour of
I can taste them, yeah.
From repeatedly bragging about what a hit Three Lions was in the 1990s, to constantly getting on Ed Gamble's nerves, David Baddiel proved to be a nightmare of a contestant.
That means she missed a brick.
I mean,
David, seriously?
He was another who was bad at the tasks and consistently needed things explaining to him, usually by Gamble, who just got angrier and angrier. But he also wasn't a gracious loser.
It means it's shorter than it should have been. Yeah, so what happened physically?
What happened physically?
Was a brick missing?
In full view of everyone, he tried to cheat in one of the live tasks by jumping up and down to make his rubber egg go further, which was very unsportsmanlike. Losing on Taskmaster is a far cry from performing at Wembley.
That's going to collapse, that will collapse, that will collapse.
Wow.
He's out! Get out, Baddiel! Get out! Come on!
Let us know in the comments which Taskmaster contestants you think shouldn't have been on the show.
That has upset me.
Yeah.
No end. That is a horrible insight.
You know, as...
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.